Welcome to this explainer. Look, today we're cutting right through the startup hype and visionary storytelling surrounding AI. We're zeroing in on what actually matters to you, operational precision and management leverage. I know everyone is under massive pressure right now. You feel like you simply can't be late to this AI transition. So teams are testing tools, IT is buying platforms, and everyone is pushing for rapid adoption. But under all that noise, there's a massive execution gap. We're going to look at exactly why all this frantic current activity isn't translating into real economic impact, and more importantly, how you can actually bridge that gap. Okay, let's dive into our strategic briefing for today. We'll map out the AI adoption illusion, evaluate the maturity gap, diagnose the HR metric misalignment, expose the invisible conversation, and finally define how to capture real economic impact. Let's get started. Section 1, the AI adoption illusion, activity versus ROI. We have to start with a pretty uncomfortable truth about corporate transformation today. Right now, a staggering 75% of AI implementation is, well, it's essentially theater. Now, don't get me wrong, the underlying technology works perfectly fine, but it's theater because executives are tracking the wrong telemetry entirely. You're measuring superficial activity, like how many people were trained or how many pilots launched, instead of true economic impact. But activity isn't ROI. If the operational process doesn't actually change, your business doesn't change either. This illustrates it brilliantly. On one side, you have these massive, almost unbelievable numbers of weekly ChatGPT users. But then look at the other side, the tiny fraction of professional, paid subscribers using enterprise integrated tools. The takeaway here is clear. AI adoption is massive globally, but professional implementation is still severely limited. We have widespread casual experimentation going on, but very little disciplined enterprise-level integration. And this brings us to the real headache, invisible ROI. When companies measure AI strictly by activity metrics, like licenses bought or prompts used, they're completely missing the picture. The productivity gains are actually happening. An analyst pulls together a dashboard in minutes instead of hours, or a seller preps way faster for a client meeting. But because those gains happen invisibly at the individual task level, the company never captures that time saved as a tangible business metric. The ROI literally just disappears into the ether because management can't actually see it. Which takes us to Section 2, the maturity gap, moving beyond chat. Let's benchmark where most organizations are actually stalled out. This is the AI maturity ladder. Look, most companies right now are stuck right at the bottom at level 1, just basic ChatGPT usage. But real return on investment doesn't happen there. ROI only starts when AI fundamentally changes Step 2, business intelligence, Step 3, automation, and Step 4, operational decisions. You have to stop treating AI like a really fast typing assistant and start embedding it directly into those high-level process functions. That means we need to get completely clear on what transformation actually is. Launching a pilot training program? Not transformation. Simply buying technology? Definitely not transformation. True transformation only happens when people genuinely change how they work on a daily basis. And crucially, it happens when processes are fundamentally redesigned around what AI can now capture, automate, and measure. It requires a structural shift in the work itself. Section 3. The HR metric misalignment, an unfair burden. Now, a massive reason organizations stall out is because of how they delegate AI. Let's forensically dismantle this, because it's a completely unfair model. Take a look at this breakdown. Typically, HR gets tasked with leading AI training and driving adoption. But think about it. HR doesn't own the actual business metrics. If sales conversion goes up, sales takes the credit. If delivery speed improves, tech claims it. But if that initial AI training doesn't instantly show a massive enterprise-wide ROI, HR takes the blame. It's totally misaligned. So the crucial point here is this. HR is there to enable capability, but they absolutely cannot own the execution outcome. AI implementation has to connect directly to the business area where the metric actually lives. Operational leaders, not just HR or IT, have to step up and own the actual transformation and the resulting business intelligence. Moving on to Section 4, the invisible conversation, physical versus digital intelligence. Let's shift our focus to execution visibility, specifically looking at a massive data gap where a framework like CoSkills AI becomes absolutely critical. Notice the sheer contrast in telemetry here. Online companies, they've measured digital behavior flawlessly for years. They know exactly what you click, search, and abandon in a cart. But in physical brick-and-mortar operations, especially in retail and hospitality, the missing metric is the customer conversation. Right now, all that rich data is completely invisible to management. Just think about what happens on the floor of a physical business every single day. For instance, what specific objection blocked the sale? Was financing offered? Was a competitor mentioned? The literal second that customer walks out the door, all that critical execution data just instantly disappears into the void. Or what about this? What product created real interest but just didn't convert? If you aren't capturing that, you're losing total management leverage. You can't adjust your inventory, you can't retrain your staff, and you definitely can't refine your marketing, all because the customer's intent was never recorded. And finally, what specific service moment created an upsell opportunity? Or why did a guest leave without buying anything? Today, all that crucial information stays permanently locked inside the fleeting conversation between the guest and the host, or the prospect and the service team. AI's true operational role isn't about replacing those humans. It's about capturing those invisible conversations, structuring the data, and turning it into scalable business intelligence. Which brings us to our final operational standard, Section 5, Capturing Economic Impact, the new telemetry. If we can just stop measuring mere adoption activity and actually start measuring the work itself, we unlock entirely new operational telemetry. When AI is applied correctly to conversational data, the narrative immediately shifts from startup hype to hard economic impact. Look at the precise operational metrics you can unlock now. You can measure objection patterns at scale. You can pinpoint exact reasons for lost sales, track upsell moments, audit your team's follow-up discipline, and map real customer intent. Ultimately, you're measuring frontline execution quality. This right here is the new standard of management leverage. To summarize the core thesis of this explainer, AI does not create ROI by itself. AI creates ROI when the company changes the process and starts measuring what was previously invisible. That is exactly where the next true competitive advantage is going to be built. It's not in buying more licenses, it's an actual process transformation. So I want to leave you with this final executive question to help you critically evaluate your own organization's telemetry. Stop asking if your teams are simply using AI. The real question you must answer right now is, what specific business process are we improving with AI?